Hello, America. Canada here. Are you tired of all the winning yet? Let me begin by saying that all I am is a Canadian, a simple Canadian. I am not an elected official or work for any branch of the government. It's just frustrating, even with all the attacks on Canada recently, watching the United States destroy itself from within for no other reason than massive egos and petty politics. Let me be clear on why I am making this video. I'm trying to wake Americans up. As your former remarkable statesman and civil rights leader John Lewis once said, I'm trying to get into good trouble. Now, this message is intended for business leaders, including CEOs and presidents of major companies in the United States. Many of your companies are part of multinational corporations that must view the world in a different light. $6 trillion has been lost, affecting every aspect of the American and world economy. This administration's leadership style, or lack thereof, has been demonstrated to the American public and the international community. I find the list of countries being subject to the tariffs because of unfair trade practices interesting. Or wait a second, is it because they're smuggling fentanyl? I forget which excuse he's using this week. So tariffs for penguins, but none for Putin. You will soon face difficult decisions, as logic suggests that you will need to reduce your workforce. This will, of course, have a negative impact on your employees and communities. With a recession looming, the big question that you will have to answer along with your company is, what are you going to do? I'm not sure if the US media actually gets it. They keep on saying we are in the middle of a global tariff war, but they know, or at least they should know, that that is the one thing this isn't. This isn't a world tariff war where multiple countries are involved in a trade dispute. This is a US war on the world. Honestly, they should know better. The talking heads on all the US networks say that the president needs to eliminate the tariffs now. If not, the Senate and Congress has to act. The Senate has already passed a bill removing Canada from the tariffs because we are not a threat to your national security. Assuming it passes Congress, and I think that's a pretty big if, I have a nice, crisp Canadian $5 bill that says the bill will be vetoed. Any takers? From my understanding, and I could be wrong, it would have to go back to get a two-thirds majority of both the House and Senate to override the veto. Are enough Republicans going to rest their political future by voting against this administration to allow that to happen? Now, a lot of things can happen between now and the Canadian election, which is being held in a few weeks. It is very possible that the present administration of the US government may realize that Canada is serious about what we are and are not prepared to accept as negotiating tactics. When President Biden went to his first G7 meeting after being elected, he said to a room full of world leaders, America's back. The room went quiet until one of the world leaders said out loud, yes, but for how long? The world now knows the answer to that question. America, including the American media, appears to live in a vacuum. They have no idea of the implications of actions taken in the United States has on the world. I'll give you one example. The look of shock on CNN's Amanpour's face when being told by a Canadian minister that Canadians are hurt and angry by the disrespect, by calling us the 51st state, calling our prime minister governor, and that suddenly we see the US not as our closest ally and neighbor, but as a possible fundamental threat to our sovereignty. Regardless of the result of our upcoming election, that trust that existed for the last 160 years is gone. With or without tariffs, America will no longer be the big exporting powerhouse that it was even a few months ago. The implications of Liberation Day, as President Trump calls it, is far reaching. And yes, I'm sure most Americans are starting to feel the sting. I would encourage every American to look in their closets and see where the clothes they wear were made. The same with the computers they use, the sneakers they wear, the TVs they watch, and even the dishes they eat on. Then you may realize that Mr. Trump's golden age of America may only apply to a few. In case it hasn't already been made clear, Canada, along with almost every other trading partner the US has been looking elsewhere for other markets to do business with. And being frank, you can expect that it will take decades, if ever, for trade to reach the pre Trump era numbers. Canadians love the American people. We know the feeling is mutual. We can see it in the demonstrations across the US and the town hall meetings where you guys are protesting the cuts to your government services. You will occasionally see a Canadian flag. We see it at our land crossings and even the nation's capital. I wish I could express our gratitude. This is why so much of what's happening in the US bothers us. Did you ever think we'd go from this Economist edition to this one in such a short period of time? Has it only been less than 3 months since the new administration took office? Why would a foreign company risk buying your products if someone can change their mind with a stroke of a Sharpie and make it impossible to do business with you? I would like to encourage you to keep your U.S. plants open, employ who you can, and keep supporting the communities throughout the United States for the domestic market. Well, what's left of it. Let me tell you about my hometown, Hamilton, Ontario. At one time, we had major companies in and around Hamilton. Yes, some of these I'm going to mention may still have sales offices and warehouses in Canada, but most, if not all, of the manufacturing has moved to the U.S. But I'd like to talk about the actual plans to give you an idea of the potential Hamilton has to offer. We were home to companies like Westinghouse, Firestone, Procter & Gamble, International Harvester, Massey Ferguson, even Lifesavers Candy. And finally, one I would especially like to mention is John Deere. Personal shout out to CEO John May. I cannot imagine your frustration when the U.S. president threatened John Deere with a 200% tariff if you built that plant in Ramos, Mexico. I understand that you had to make a difficult decision recently, but is it too late to change John Deere's plans? I am suggesting that U.S. companies seriously consider Hamilton in Canada as viable options. Frankly, a made in Canada sticker on your goods will get you a lot further and cost you a lot less. Now, just a few things quickly on why Hamilton would be a great place for you to build your businesses, your factories, and raise your families. This is where I'm going to sound like a disclaimer in one of those commercials you see in the US all the time. But I assure you, it's only because of lack of time. For more information, you can see my complete ramblings in the link below in the comment section, along with some other useful links. Hamilton has Ontario's busiest harbor, with over 10,000 meters of dock well, allowing over 700 vessels to berth annually. Our harbor is just 151 nautical miles from the St. Lawrence Seaway, allowing you easy access to the world. Canada, being a member of both CETA, the Canadian-European Union Free Trade Agreement, and the CPTPP, which is the Comprehensive and Progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership, offers great markets around the globe. And Canada is hoping to finish negotiations and that will be able to sign the Canada and the Association of Southeast Asia Nations Free Trade Agreement within the next 12 months. The Hamilton International Airport is quickly becoming a major courier and cargo hub, perfect for your air shipping needs. Both Hamilton Harbor and the Hamilton International Airport are designated as foreign trade zone points, providing businesses with access to duty deferral and tax exemptions. With a population of over 600,000 people and access to a workforce of 4.9 million people within an hour's drive, we have the talent to fit your needs. We are the home of McMaster University and Mohawk College, both of which are renowned research hubs providing a skilled workforce from around the globe. Hamilton is quickly becoming Canada's hub for green-related manufacturing and industries. Hamilton has world-class hospitals, including McMaster, hosting one of Canada's major teaching hospitals. Hamilton is also known as the waterfall capital of Canada. We have hundreds of miles of nature trails, many of which have shared access for bicycles. We have the Canadian Warplane Museum, the Bruce Trail, the Trans-Canada Trail, the Niagara Escarpment, the Hamilton Conservation Authority, and the Royal Botanical Gardens. We have great public transit, along with music and street festivals throughout the year. The list goes on and on. With all the uncertainty in the world, much caused by the present U.S. administration, you know you need to look at all your options. Take a look at what Hamilton and Canada have to offer. You might be surprised.